yeah, so I kind of knew, and then the next day she did post saying that she's gotten a positive test. Alright, hi ladies, and welcome to my channel. If you are new here, we are in the middle of the 2-week wait after a 5-day embryo transfer. This is where I document our journey through infertility, IVF, adoption, and parenting. If that's your jam, go ahead and click the subscribe button. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to attempt to sit down every single day during the 2-week wait and share what I'm feeling. And then, weirdly, what shirt I'm wearing. I'm going to try to wear a different infertility shirt for every single day of the 2-week wait. I've collected quite a few from a few different places, and I think it's just fun to share that and share some of the people that have influenced my journey along the way. So today is day 1, and how does day 1 differ from how I was feeling yesterday during the transfer? I think I said yesterday, or in last week's video, you know, after transfer day, that I felt like this was just one more step in the process. And it still kind of feels that way, but it's a smidge different because it feels a lot more concrete. Like we were always trying to make a baby before, and it's like, no, it was there, it was made, it existed, and we're just trying to get it to stick. So usually that's like a big black box of like, oh, you triggered and you ovulated, and then who knows what happened. So it's a little bit different. It feels a little bit more concrete. So that is there, so I feel a little bit closer, so that's positive. On the negative side, we started talking about, you know, what happens if it doesn't work, and I couldn't. I was having a bit of a problem with that. I don't know. The idea of jumping back into treatment and doing this again, and then the possibility of doing like an ERA if, you know, even the next transfer doesn't work, and going like back to work. Obviously we're quarantined now, and I know I have at least like a month-ish left, so that's really convenient. That'll get me through most of my shots if this does work. Anyway, point is, that conversation was overwhelming, and so kind of had to put it on the back burner. Gonna wait until these 2 weeks are over before we make that decision. Today's shirt, let's see, whew, there we go, is a Love Multiply shirt. If you've been around for a while, you know. If you've been a while watching me, if you've been here a while watching just the infertility community in general, you know of Phil and Alex. They are a wonderful couple who just welcomed their 3rd daughter, Cassidy, from IVF, and they have 2 other older daughters who they adopted as infants. So they are a wonderful inspiration and so positive and lovely, and could use some good vibes right now. So go ahead and check out their channel if somehow you have not seen it. But this is one of my Love Multiply shirts. I'm very tempted to get another one because they're so comfy, and it makes me smile every time that I realize I'm wearing their shirt because they're really nice. That's as good a place as any to end it. I'll see you tomorrow. Hello, it is now day 2, only day 2. I want it to be more. Okay, yeah, so that's kind of how this is going. Slowly, so slowly. Let's see, how am I feeling today? Other than it feels like a decade, doing okay. I'm still a little sick, as you can hear, but getting a lot better, at least on my energy's back. I know now why this feels different, and it's because even though we've gotten farther in pregnancies, like those babies were never going to make it because of their genetic abnormalities, and now we know that it's genetically normal, and that's why it feels so different. I think it's not only because it is an embryo, but we also know that it's a good one. So anyway, that's why it feels different. Second thing was a piece of wisdom that Mama Kay, my mom, gave me, and I thought I would share. And I was telling her about, you know, all the shots and medications and the schedule and all the appointments, and she's like, no wonder it feels all-consuming, because you have to think about it constantly, and they make it the #1 priority. Like the clinic says, this is when your appointments are, and this is when you take medications. Like they are dictating that. So no wonder it feels like the most important thing, because they are treating it like you have no other priorities in your life. And I thought that was just a little piece of wisdom that I would share with you. Alright, let's see, what's today's shirt? It is a grow through what you go through shirt. This is, and it's long sleeve, gotta love that. This is from It's Kelsey's Life here on YouTube. I will link her stuff. I'll link anything I can down below. I'll run out of little iCards, so I'll link it down below. This is her shirt. This is actually her old design, and I'll link her shop so you can go look at it. But she documents her journey. Right now she is on a quest to figure out her recurrent loss. She has had 4 losses and is currently seeking answers. So if that sounds like something you're interested in, you can check her out. But let the day continue. Also, I woke up today and I was like, is it Thursday? No, it's Wednesday. This whole week is going in half speed. All right, see you tomorrow. Sorry if you shake. Evangeline is using you to brace off of. Today's day 3. It's the afternoon, and as you can tell by my lack of makeup and lack of even attempting to do things with my hair, I'm not feeling it today. I've been a hot mess for kind of like 48 hours. Last night I sent the husband and Evangeline to go hang out with the grandparents because I just needed like a few hours where I wasn't at risk of snapping at someone. I think I'm just really fatigued. I'm not sure if the symptoms are getting worse. Evangeline has things to say. There we go. It is rather lightening the mood better than I intended. Like I said, I don't think it's like the symptoms getting worse. I think I am just fatigued. I realize I've been on medications for months now because of the birth control and then going right into the estradiol and the progesterone, and so I just, yeah, I think I'm just fatigued. I'm bitchy. I am tired. There is not enough sleep for me to get that could make me untired. I'm just, that is a side effect of it. My chest hurts aggressively. Evangeline is pulling her diaper covers out of her drawer, but yeah, and the estradiol is really doing a number on the libido, and guess what? After a transfer, you can't. So that's just frustrating. That just feels unnecessary, and I did a bunch of research on it last night because I was like, is this restriction even based on anything? Turns out it is. I can do a video on that. I was telling the husband, he's like, sounds like a video in the making, and I'm like, no one else cares. Everyone else is probably fine with keeping their hands to themselves for 2 weeks. I'm kind of done with this. I don't want to, I'm done. I'm so done. I looked at Evangeline and I'm like, maybe I should just have one child. Maybe this isn't worth it. So that's where I'm at. I know it's just the, like, again, the sheer stamina it takes to get through a transfer is not something that I've had to face before, because with, you know, the injectable cycle, the hybrid cycles, and with like an egg retrieval, it's all pretty short. It's just like a few weeks. Sorry it's not a super like chipper update, but okay. It's my reality. I guess that's the point. All right. Do you want to come help show them the shirt? All right, Evangeline's gonna come help. Okay, so today's shirt is this 1 in 8 Casey Infertility shirt. And this one is, I think, the one you can order from the Casey Infertility Awareness site. And it's another long sleeve one, because whenever I can get anybody's merch or anything in long sleeve, I do. Pumpkin. No? Okay. The Casey Infertility Awareness monthly support group was an incredible help while we were going through our treatments and going through the adoption process. So, yeah, shout out to them. Yeah, alright, we're gonna end it for now. Hi! Hello again, my wonderful ladies. We are on day 4 past transfer, so 4 days past 5-day transfer, or the equivalent of 9 DPO, and I am doing better than yesterday. I was a little bit super down yesterday. My brother is coming into town this afternoon, so I'm gonna hang out with him this weekend. I'm hoping the next few days go by a little bit quicker. I'm still feeling all of the symptoms that I've been feeling for the last few weeks because of the medications. Intermittent nausea, constipation, poor sore bum from the shots, oh, and sore chest. So all of those are just continuing. I haven't really seen a big change in any of them. Other than the soreness, my poor bum is getting more and more sore. We hit a really bad spot last night. That's the first time we've hit like a bad spot that was bleeding afterwards. Otherwise, it's been pretty non-bloody affair, honestly. But it definitely hurt more and it was bleeding afterwards. So I figured we were gonna have to encounter that at some point. So that's there. I don't know. So far, I'm waffling a lot between like, you know, this isn't gonna work and this has to work. And I think I'm kind of in the like, this isn't gonna work camp right now, but we don't know, we won't know for a while. I've been testing today and yesterday, and I'll show the, oh look, perfect, I have a space. I'll show the little chart of like the percent of women that get positives at this day DPO that are eventually gonna be positive. So like if they are actually pregnant, this is the day that a pregnancy test turns positive. I really like that chart. It kind of keeps your expectations in reality. And I know doctors don't want you to test, and if it causes you more stress to test, then don't. But for me, I don't know, it causes me less stress. Like it's one less thing I have to like restrict myself from, and they're like 25 cents. And I don't know, I just rather know. And I also don't want to miss a chemical pregnancy. Like I want to know if that happens, which I think is the point of waiting 2 weeks past transfers to like let chemical pregnancies happen so you don't have to like deal with that. But like I want to know that as like part of just the facts of my case. And that same mentality is why we tested, you know, our previous pregnancies for genetic disorders. Like I didn't want to get to my 3rd miscarriage and then test them. Like I wanted all the facts from the beginning. So I feel like that's kind of the same mentality. Again, if it doesn't help you, then don't do it. But for me, it gives me some sort of peace about the day. All right, today's shirt. The struggle is part of the story. I'm sure a search of my inbox can track down where this came from, and then I will leave it down in the description, just like I'm leaving links to everything that I am wearing if you can purchase it. All right, check in on day 5. Tuesday, Monday, let's see, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Okay, so yeah, day 5. Past a 5-day transfer, just went on a walk. It's like 90 degrees and all the way humid in the Kansas City metro area, so I am hot. But I am gonna switch out of this fine t-shirt I'm about to show you into some workout clothes because it's Pokemon Go Fest today, which me and my family are participating in. If you wanna be my friend on Pokemon Go, here's my friend code. But yeah, it's all day today and all day tomorrow. My brother came in town. We're doing that, so hopefully that'll distract me. I hate being pessimistic on this channel, but I just feel like it didn't work. I know we still have like really 5 more days where, you know, it could implant and, you know, we could get positive tests and stuff, but I don't know. You know, maybe I'll be a fool and everything will be fine, but I'm just really feeling the side effects of the drugs, and I'm really sick and tired of being crazy. And I just want to know. And this is the 2-week wait life, right? All right, so I'm gonna go rehydrate and get ready for several more hours of being out in the sun. And let's show you today's shirt. So this is from the same Etsy shop, I think, as the day 1 shirt I showed you, and the socks, if you're following me on Instagram. But it says big fat positive vibes. And I don't know, I like it. Normally I'm not into super feminine stuff, but I don't know, I like this shirt, and I don't know. And I love that it came in this color too, because blue is my jam. So, all right, we're not halfway through the wait, but we're halfway through like usually people call it by 10 days past transfer, even though my clinic only does the test on, you know, 14 days past transfer. So we're halfway through the real 2-week wait. Yeah. Oh, this is a depressing update. I'm stopping. Okay. We are 6 days past 5-day transfer and another negative test today. So I think I'm kind of not calling this. Obviously there's still a chance for it to turn positive, but bracing with reality that we're probably not gonna succeed this cycle and trying to determine what to do. Obviously going into this, I wanted to just power through and do 3 cycles in a row if I had to. Obviously being in it is hard. And the idea of starting over and doing birth control and doing all this all again is a bit much, but the husband points out that like it's this or wait to do this again. Like we can't move on with other plans. whatever those are until we know what happens with these embryos. So see, all the side effects are still there, bouts of nausea, tiredness, all that jazz. Cranky baby back there, hence the passy, so I can get this done before we go to the grocery store and hope that that's not a complete disaster. We still have a few days, still gonna see, but yeah, my tests are white as white can get right now. So that's where we are right now. All right, bye. Hiya. It's been a minute, sorry. So I had fully intended to do these every single day, but I think after day 6 was the last one I filmed, maybe. Honestly, the beginning of that second week of waiting was really hard. But here, let's get you caught up on what on earth has happened. So I haven't filmed for a few days. I kind of hit a low point. I needed change of perspective, a few days to feel sorry for myself, a few cherry limeades and a therapy session, and I was back on the up and up. I tested at some point last week, but stopped after that because it's all been very negative tests. And so there is a small chance that something could have turned positive in the interim time. Obviously that's why they wait to do your beta blood draws, but I don't think so. So that's the next thing. This is Sunday, like the Sunday before you're watching this, and tomorrow when you are watching this is my beta blood draws. So I'll share the results of that soonish. I don't expect them to be positive. I expect it to be negative, but I kind of need that to happen before we can talk about next steps and doing another transfer or waiting or whatever we're gonna do. Other things that kind of contributed to that down day was that my friend who I'm going through this cycle with texted to see how I was doing, and then I was like, not great, you know, more negative tests, and she just said, I'm so sorry. And it was the day after I knew she was going to test. Yeah, so I kind of knew, and then the next day she did post saying that she's gotten a positive test, which I'm very happy for. But I think all of you can understand, like, in the throes of this, you feel incredibly happy for them, but incredibly frustrated at your own situation at the same time. And you kind of have to let both, like, emotions play out. We'll work through that and like figure it out, like we did with her past pregnancies, and like we did when I was going through adoption. But I'm kind of on pause with that until I get my official results. That kind of like, I don't need to kick up, you know, anything, you know, if by some miracle it is positive. So that's where we are. I was kind of doing okay in the 2-week wait. Like I went high, I came down, and then I went, and then now I'm working my way back up. It's true though, like not knowing is the worst part. So even though this is most likely a failure, like that knowledge is at least helpful in alleviating some anxiety. All right, oh, very last thing. Tomorrow, I think Tuesday, is election day. If you haven't done so already, make sure to make plans to vote or vote by mail. We voted by mail because crazy Coronaville. And on a very similar note, keep on fighting, ladies.